Okay, in this video, we're going to have one last look at proving trigonometric identities using the fundamental trig identities that we've been going over the last couple of videos. So I won't spend too much time going over these again. We'll go right into it. And this is an overview here of the ones we've done so far. Okay, so let's get to just a couple I'm going to look at today. So here's the first one we'll look at, 1 minus cotangent squared of x over 1 plus cotangent squared of x plus 2 cosine squared equals to 1. And we mentioned previously that generally you want to start off with a more complicated side and show how you get the other side. Okay, well, it should be obvious that the left side is more complicated. Okay, so let's set this one up then. We want to prove it, so I'm going to start with the left side. I have 1 minus cotangent squared of x over 1 plus cotangent squared of x plus 2 cosine squared of x equals 2. Okay, so let's see if you can fill this in. How did I go from this step to this step? You can pause the video here to see if you can figure this out, but 1 plus cotangent squared of x is just one of your Pythagorean identities, and that's cosecant squared. So that's how we go from here to here. Okay? And then always keep in mind that the objective is to get 1. Okay? So there's several ways we can get 1 using those basic identities. But let's just continue with this. And let me do it this way here. Say this is 1. So again, we got 1 plus cotangent squared is equal to cosecant. Right there, that's your basic identity. So in the next one, then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write cotangent squared of x as cosine squared of x over sine squared. Okay, and of course cosecant is 1 over sine, so cosecant squared should be 1 over sine squared of x. And I just bring the other term over. 2 cosine squared x. Okay. So again, you're always looking at the big picture. Okay, what are we aiming for? This is our objective. We want to get 1 out of this. Okay, so you can see here that if I multiply the top and the bottom of this rational expression here by sine squared, okay, multiplying the bottom by sine squared, that's going to go to 1, and the numerator multiplied by sine squared, that'll give me 1 times sine squared of x, sine squared of x, and then here when I multiply by sine squared, that cancels out. I get minus cosine squared of x plus this term, 2 cosine squared of x. Okay, well here you can combine these two. Okay, so again, multiplying here by sine squared of x, I get this here. Okay, plus 2 cosine squared. Okay, these two combine, so that'll give me sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x. But we know this is one of our Pythagorean identities. Sine squared of an angle plus cosine squared of the same angle is always equal to 1. Okay, so that proves or verifies that identity. Now, just to make a point here, obviously you're going to prove this one. You would want to start with the left side and show how you got 1. Okay, but you know, like I said, you can still start with either side, but sometimes it's going to be harder or easier depending on which side you take. So here, well, I'm going to take the right side. I'm going to say 1. I want to show that 1 is equal to all this mess over here. Okay, so I start off then with 1 equals 2, and say, well, I know that 1 is the same thing as sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x. Okay, and that the order doesn't matter here. I can say cosine squared of x plus sine squared of x is equal to 1. Okay, so we get this. Okay, so now my objective then is to get this. Okay, so now this is wait a minute. You want to get this. Okay, so I got a cosine squared here, but then again, I know I have to have 2 cosine squared. Okay, so then I'm going to say that this then is going to equal 2. Okay, so I'm just going to put equals here. I'm going to put it up here. Okay, so I'm going to say then this then can be written as sine squared of x minus cosine squared of x plus 2 cosine squared of x. All right. I actually added 0. Okay. I added 0 because I added minus cosine squared and plus cosine squared. Okay. And the plus cosine squared added to this one, that's how I get 2. Okay. So you can see if I add these two, I get this. Okay. So all I did was I added 0, which doesn't change it. Okay. Now I'm going to divide. Okay, so again, this would be another step here, but I'm just going to do it here just to save some time. I'm going to divide this, the numerator, by sine squared of x. That's legal, but I have to divide the denominator also by the denominator here, remember, is 1. Okay, so 1 gets divided by sine squared of x. Okay. Okay, so then, okay, now I put my equal here. So then I carry this back over here and say, okay, if I divide the numerator here by sine squared of x, okay, and what I'm going to have is sine squared of x divided by sine squared of x, that'll give me a 1. And then it's going to be minus, and then it's going to be cosine squared of x divided by sine squared of x. So it's cosine squared of x over sine squared of x. Well, that's cotangent squared of x. Okay. And in the bottom, then 1 over sine squared. 1 over sine squared is the same thing as cosecant squared. Okay. Okay. So again, I'm not writing everything down, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. 1 over sine squared is the same thing as cosecant squared. But cosecant squared is 1 plus cotangent squared of x. And then, of course, I have my other term over here, plus 2 cosine squared of x. Okay, so you decide which side of the identity you would use. Okay, but like I said, generally it's going to work out either way. But one side is generally going to be a little bit more involved than the other one. Okay, so let's clear this. And let's look at this one. I want to show that the natural log of absolute secant of x is equal to minus the natural log of absolute cosine of x. Okay. So this one here is going to involve not only the fundamental identities, but it's going to involve a little bit of properties of logarithms. Okay. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to start with the left side, and I'm just going to say, okay, natural log of secant of x is the same thing as natural log of, and then I'm going to say secant is 1 over sine, whatever cosine is to say. Of x. Okay, and this then is going to be the same thing as the natural log of absolute value of 1 on top is 1, and absolute value of cosine of x. Okay, give us that. And then using properties of negative exponents, I can rewrite this as the natural log of absolute cosine of x to the negative 1. Okay, so natural log of secant of x is the same thing as natural log of absolute 1 over cosine of x, which simplifies to natural log of 1 over absolute cosine of x. And then this can be written this way. But there's a property of logarithms that tells you that if you have the natural log of some base to a power, you can take that power as a coefficient. So that minus can be placed as a coefficient here. So I came up with minus the natural log of cosine of x. Okay, and you can see that this one either way works out similar. If I take the other side, minus the natural log of cosine, okay, I do this, then this will be the same thing as natural log of absolute cosine. Again, using the same property, this negative can become an exponent here on this. This is an x here. And then this is the same thing then as natural log of 1 over absolute cosine of x. Okay, this is absolute 1 over absolute cosine of x. But that's the same thing then as the natural log, because secant is 1 over cosine. That would be the same thing as natural log of absolute secant of x. Okay, and that's the way it comes out. Okay, so these were, like I said, depending on which side you take, these came out pretty easy. Okay, so hope this made sense to you and helped you out, and we'll continue with some other stuff in the next video. Thanks for watching.